Michael Myers is fucking dead. Now, do you brain-dead gossip mongers want me to spell that out for you? D-E-A-D.
That nigga is dead! D-U-D, dead! Dead! You are dead!
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Halloween 2 picks up directly after Halloween 1, despite not being released until 3 years later. It even goes so far as to start its own movie off with using footage from the end of the first Halloween. Its opening feels a lot less like a movie and a lot more like a TV show.
Previously on
Halloween.
Boy, why are you crying?
Loomis rushes out to see the dead body of Michael Myers, his former patient, and instead he finds nothing.
And like that, he's gone.
I imagine this was similar to how the studio felt when trying to find John Carpenter to come back and try and get him for this movie.
He's gone.
Loomis rushes to a police officer, ranting about the near murder he almost committed.
I shot him 6 times. What? I shot him 6 times. I shot him 6 times.
Loomis shoots Myers 7 times.
So Loomis snitches on himself, telling the cops about his murder, which really goes to show you how different he and Michael Myers are as characters. As when Mike murdered somebody, he didn't speak a word to anyone for years. Well, that is until Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But we'll get there. And unlike in the first movie, where Michael's presence was kept under wraps for reasons poorly explained, seriously, a murderous inmate breaks out of Smith's Grove and no one thinks to start warning people?
I still think I should notify the radio and television.
No.
In Halloween 2, the deaths of the characters from the first movie are immediately reported on. Hell, this even made it to the news before Laurie made it to the hospital. Come to think of it, 2 news reports came out before the sheriff even learned of his daughter Annie's death. All this time, Michael's already beginning to plot his next body count. As Laurie is brought to the hospital, we're shown the very pleasant imagery of a kid with a razor blade stuck in his mouth. For reasons I can't seem to explain. Michael didn't put that razor blade in his mouth. He has nothing to do with the plot. But he's kind enough to drop back in several times for virtually no reason whatsoever. Just a random kid with a razor blade in his mouth. Thanks for that. And, kindly fuck off. Loomis thinking he spotted Myers basically leads a trick-or-treater to their fiery death. And considering the hair on the mask was blonde, I gotta say I give this costume a 2 out of 5. It could have been better. If you're gonna make a do-it-yourself Michael Myers outfit, at least take the time to dye your Shatner hair. What were you thinking? The sheriff, just learning of his daughter's death, blames Dr. Loomis, despite Loomis being the one who's actively trying to keep Myers in isolation. While the police seem content in believing that the burning trick-or-treater was Michael Myers, Loomis thinks otherwise, and continues his crusade in trying to end the life of his former patient. Which is interesting, because I didn't know that they practice Kevorkian treatments in psychiatry. We're shown very quickly that Michael did not indeed die. He's very much alive, and practicing for his road test apparently.
Michael, welcome to your first driving lesson.
Wow, that's a nice mask there. You a Captain Kirk fan?
Child! Oh, good! That is not good. That is very, very bad. You're gonna get a mark for that, all right?
Laurie, in the meantime, is still hospitalized, being treated by a doctor who is suspected of being drunk. Ah, yes, the American medical system at its finest.
Janet, get me some more coffee.
Apparently, the shell-shocked Jamie has caught the eye of her ambulance driver, Jimmy.
You know this chick? Yeah, her name's Laurie Strode. She goes to school with my little brother Ziggy.
Look, Jimmy, rule number 1, never get involved with a patient. Nurses, that's another story.
The romantic interest between the two sprouts out of zero chemistry and, I guess, a complete necessity to the plot, despite it having no bearing over which. And honestly, Laurie better not fall for Curly Q over here. She has a man waiting at home already, and his name is Ben Tramer. Did anybody remember the first movie?
I'd rather go with Ben Tramer. Ben Tramer? I knew it! Well, I just talked with Ben Tramer, and he got real excited when I told him how attracted you were to him.
And when are you gonna give him a call, Laurie? Huh? Maybe one of these days it's gonna be too late. Eventually, Jimmy reveals that the man who went after her was the infamous Michael Myers, which, believe it or not, is little comfort to her. Though, to be honest, you could have told her it was Chester McBadbad who tried to end her life, and I'm pretty sure it still wouldn't be any help to her. Jimmy assures her he won't let anything happen to her.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Okay?
On the bright side, at least the medication is putting Laurie to sleep. I mean, maybe now she'll be at peace. Maybe she's having sweet dreams.
Michael, please don't be angry with me. I'm your sister.
Or maybe she can't catch a goddamn break. Jesus, movie. The circuits go down in the hospital, which is never a good sign in any horror movie because it usually means that some characters are about to be cliched to death. Elsewhere, Loomis, the police, and the medical examiner determine that the charred corpse is not the corpse of Michael Myers, but rather Ben Tramer.
Yeah, I'm worried about Ben and Tramer. He isn't home yet. Yeah, and he left the party at 10.
It's only a little after 11, boys.
He was real drunk.
So I guess that means Laurie's in the clear. Can't date if you don't have a pulse. Loomis is shown a crime scene where we see the words Sam Hain written in blood, which ultimately mean very little, but ooh, spooky.
The Festival of Sam Hain, October 31st.
Sam Hain isn't evil spirits. It isn't goblins, ghosts, or witches. It's the unconscious mind.
Nurse Marion from the first movie shows up, telling Loomis that Smithsgrove want him back immediately, due to Michael's escape. Seriously, you guys just put everything on this guy. He tried telling you. On the car ride there, it's only then that she drops the bomb. She reveals the famous plot twist that we all know.
There's a file on Michael Myers that nobody knew about.
I've seen everything.
No, it was hidden, sealed by the court after his parents were killed. That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
Suddenly, things click for Loomis.
And so I pull out my gun!
Michael heads to the hospital where he's promptly told that visiting hours are over. But Michael doesn't listen to their requests, for it seems that Mike has a family emergency. Or at least he intends to. After ranking up some more bodies and going on a killing spree, Michael once again makes his way to Laurie, only to find that she's been waiting for him. In her place are pillows as she desperately looks for an escape in the hospital. Elsewhere in that same hospital, everyone's missing and Jimmy's spider sense is tingling, so he promptly warns a nurse and tells her to head to the sheriff's station. Jimmy looks for help, but only finds the body of Nurse Alves. And I shit you not, he slips on her blood and knocks himself out. Wow, man, I'm glad that Laurie entrusted this man to keep her safe. No, I mean it. He seems like a good choice.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
If I ever needed someone to protect and look after me, personally, I would hire the Three Stooges, but that's just me. Eventually, Michael and Laurie meet face to face, to Nurse Corps. They proceed to play the worst game of tag because apparently Michael's it, and he's really, really slow. So Jamie running away it seems unfair. But in all honesty, this is just kind of rude. I mean, sure, he doesn't talk, and he's in a mask, and he has a knife, but I mean, that doesn't mean nothing. Maybe he just wanted to reconnect with you. Do you ever think of that? No, of course you didn't, because you're always thinking about yourself. I mean, it's 1978 in story, it's 1981 in reality. Either way, it's not like he could just send you a friend request. I mean, sure, family reunions are always awkward, but there's no reason to run away from someone when they come to visit you when you're at the hospital. Have some goddamn manners. Laurie makes it outside and meets up with a very confused and very concussed Jimmy, who is unable to start his car due to self-inflicted brain trauma. Jimmy falls face first into his car horn, probably alerting Michael as to where they are. Good going, Jim. Like I said, good choice. Good choice. Solid. 10 out of 10. Laurie jumps out of the parked car as Loomis and company pull up. They immediately rush inside and lock the doors behind them. Unbeknownst to them, locking the person that they've been looking to protect, Laurie, outside with the killer. Michael approaches as Jamie Lee Curtis does what she was hired to do. Scream into the locked hospital doors. Loomis at last minute notices her frantic yelling and allows her inside. Michael, impervious to everything apparently, walks through the hospital's glass door. And I mean, you gotta hand it to the guy. For all the bad things you can and we have said about him, guy definitely knows how to make an entrance.
Hot entrance.
Loomis shoots Michael 3 times, which obviously doesn't kill him as he was shot about 6 or 7 times at the end of the first movie.
Get away from him! But he stopped breathing! No!
Michael regains consciousness and slits the throat of the aiding officer with ease. Which, honestly, I think he kind of just had it coming. The man told you to stay away from him. Loomis and Laurie relocate as Marion elsewhere alerts the authorities. Trying to pass a second gun to Laurie, she initially declines. Which, if you want to be a pacifist, maybe do that during a time when your life is not in danger. I mean, this isn't going on a hunting trip. This is being hunted most dangerous game style. It's do or die, bitch. Grab the gun. Laurie is used basically as bait in an effort of trapping Michael. Michael breaks in the room only to be ambushed by Loomis. Loomis's master plan, of course, includes just shooting the Sam Hain killer. Because if bullets don't stop him, I'm sure more bullets definitely will. Solid work. Loomis cocks the gun only to find that he's out of ammo and out of luck. Myers jabs him with a surgical knife, or at least I think that's what that is, and he turns his attention to Laurie before she briefly calls out to him, distracting him only momentarily. When he inches closer, she draws her gun and shoots him twice directly in the eyes. Blood pours down his mask in a tear pattern as he aimlessly swings and flails his knife around. And he does this for so long, honestly, I start to feel a little bad for him. It's like playing monkey in the middle with a blind kid. It's not right. Laurie and Loomis begin loosening the valves around the room before Loomis orders Laurie to exit, which he does with haste. Loomis takes out a lighter and tells Michael,
"It's time, Michael."
Before lighting it and effectively blowing the two of them up. Michael exits the room engulfed in flames only to collapse to his death. Laurie's loaded back into an ambulance and Mr. Sandman plays us off. And that is Halloween 2. There's also, like the original, versions made strictly for TV, adding, editing, and replacing scenes. In the theatrical cut, we're shown Alice's death, whereas in this version, Alice lives and it's implied that Michael actually kills Miss Elrod instead. The police officer dies entirely different, although, to be honest, I think I'm with the TV version on this one. Also in the TV version, Jimmy sneaks to Laurie's room to tell her the good news about Michael Myers being dead, which also isn't a comfort to her. Parts of the movie are re-edited and placed in a completely different order. taking Jimmy out of the car at the end and placing his fall much later on in the movie.
It's time, Michael.
Most of the rest are minuscule changes in lines or shots. But the two biggest additions, I feel, are these scenes with Jamie and the additional ending scene.
We made it.
It makes the introduction of that Mr. Sandman song seem a lot less grim. Overall, while I wouldn't say that Halloween 2 was as good as the original, I'd say it works well for the most part as a sequel to it. And it's a fairly good movie in its own right. There's just a few things here or there that seem either randomly pointless or just, I don't know, plain goofy. Some of the creative decisions were questionable, but the performances were not to be questioned. Loomis and Laurie have become as integral to this plot as Michael himself. If you haven't for some reason seen this, well then it's definitely worth the watch.
Every other word you say is either hell or shit or damn.
Sorry. I guess I just fuck up all the time.
So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free $1 to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that $1, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTart, oh.